What does the name Uncle Harry's mean to you? Does it remind you of hot summer nights wanting a cold scoop of ice cream? Or by a double feature by catching a movie in Marcus and getting some milkshakes after? Well, hopefully I wasn't the only one, but right behind me is where Uncle Harry's used to be, an ice cream staple for Addison. A couple of years ago, Uncle Harry retired and sold his shop, and fortunately the new owners kind of ran the place to the ground. But luckily Steve and a couple of others came and saved the day. Steve is an owner of Flavor Frenzy, and more times than not he'll be the one actually serving you the ice cream in person. And Steve did one thing that should put a smile to your face before buying the shop. He met Uncle Harry. Not only did Steve meet Uncle Harry, but he brought Uncle Harry out of retirement to help him open up this shop. Yes, thanks to Steve, Uncle Harry is back in Addison, serving you the ice cream you came to love. I asked Steve about his journey and how he ended up here, and he told me it all started with Scoop School. Yeah, I did not know there was such a thing as ice cream school either, but Steve went all the way to St. Louis to go to Scoop School to learn the basics of opening up an ice cream shop. Now, that wasn't always the plan. Steve was actually in marketing before, but one thing led to another, and he found himself at Scoop School learning the basics and eventually wanting to open up his own ice cream shop. Now, Steve actually grew up in Glenview and is now living in Buffalo Grove, and the plan was to find a place about a 15-minute drive from home, but things changed. He met Uncle Harry, and he found a loving community here in Addison that he couldn't turn his back on. Steve also knew the history of Addison and the quality of ice cream that we came to love with Uncle Harry. So Steve decided to bring back the same vendors he used and even some of the same menu items. But just like any of us would, Steve wanted to put a part of who he was into this shop, so he added his very favorite dessert item, Italian ice. Steve would sometimes drive over an hour to get Italian ice at his favorite shop, Mario's on Taylor Street. So naturally, when he opened up his own ice cream shop, he had to add Italian ice to the menu. Steve didn't just want to add Italian ice, he wanted to add Italian ice that was better than Mario's at his favorite spot. While he's still tweaking some recipes, some customers think it's just as good, and for Steve to be able to hear that in person makes him so proud. Now you might be wondering why Steve, being an owner, is here in person serving you ice cream and scrubbing down counters. And I asked him how he felt about his role here at the store. And he was honest, and he told me he didn't envision himself scrubbing and cleaning down counters, but why he loves being here day after day is you guys. He loves talking to you guys and hearing what you guys think about the ice cream and the Italian ice. I then asked Steve what was his goal with this shop, and he said his number one goal was to be active in this community, to truly be a part of Addison, just like Uncle Harry once was, and make this a place where families can come together. Look, it's easy to forget that businesses aren't just here to make money. They're here to connect to a community, to remind people that some of the most memorable moments in life are some of the simplest with just a few people that you love. I ended the conversation with Steve about how his younger self would have thought about him here in Addison working in an ice cream shop day after day. And Steve said his younger self would have thought it was a dream. To be able to work with ice cream every single day, more ice cream than he can put his hands on, would have been a dream for him. So, on hot summer days, stop on by and get more ice cream and more Italian ice than you can put your hands on. We can't forget to remind ourselves of the simple moments of life and bring the kid in us out and enjoy some ice cream just like we did when we were younger, running around without a care in the world. Thanks guys, I hope you liked the video. If you want more, feel free to follow me on social media.